Right, let's settle this once and for all. A Mercedes GLC and a Rolls-Royce Cullinan are technically the exact same thing. 4 doors, a boot, a raised ride height, and a badge on the bonnet that costs more than the metal underneath it. One starts at around £49,000. The other, fully spec'd, will happily relieve you of $500,000. And here's the part nobody trying to sell you the car will ever admit. Somewhere on the climb between those two numbers, the money stops buying you a better vehicle and starts buying you a better story to tell at the golf club. These are the 7 levels of luxury SUVs, ranked cheapest to most expensive. Stick with me to the end and you will know exactly which level is genuinely worth your money, which one is quietly the smartest buy in the entire market, and which one is just a very expensive way of announcing that your accountant has finally given up trying to stop you. And when we reach level 7, I promise you the number on the price tag stops making any rational sense at all. Level 1. Entry Luxury Compact. This is where the badge opens the door and lets normal people in, and honestly, it is the level most buyers get completely wrong. We are talking the Mercedes GLC, the BMW X3, the Audi Q5, the Lexus NX, and the Volvo XC6. Oh. Prices start around $49,000 and climb into the low 60s once you tick the boxes you actually want. The GLC kicks things off with a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder and a mild hybrid system, making about 255 horsepower. The X3 does the same dance from around $50,000. The Q5 undercuts both slightly and throws in Audi's Quattro all-wheel drive as standard. Now here is what these cars actually are, and it is not what the brochure implies. They are not baby versions of the big flagship SUVs. They ride on smaller platforms, they carry less sound deadening, and the ride is firmer and busier than anything higher up the ladder. What you are really paying for is the interior, the big screens, the ambient lighting, the soft touch dashboard, and that badge on the wheel that makes the school run feel like a small victory. And there is nothing wrong with that. The Lexus NX is the smart pick here because it comes as a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid with around 40 miles of electric range. It will still be running perfectly at 150,000 miles, and it costs less to own than almost anything German in this class. The mistake people make is buying the entry model brand new at full price. These things shed value like nobody's business. A 3-year-old GLC or X3 can be down 35 to 45% from new. So let somebody else eat that depreciation. Buy the 2-year-old car and pocket the difference. Because for a few grand, more than a new one of these, you can jump to level 2, and level 2 is where the whole experience genuinely changes. Level 2, the mid-size sweet spot. This is where a luxury SUV stops feeling like a tall hatchback and starts feeling like the real thing. The players are the BMW X5, the Mercedes GLE, the Audi Q7, the Genesis GV80, and the Volvo XC90. Prices run from about $65,000 to the high 80s once you get sensible with the options. The X5 starts around $66,000 for the 6-cylinder, and it is arguably the most complete luxury SUV on sale at any price. Proper rear-drive-based platform, adaptive air suspension available, and a straight 6 that pulls with a smoothness the 4-cylinder cars downstairs can only dream about. The GLE matches it blow for blow with a nicer cabin and a slightly softer ride. But the one nobody talks about enough is the Genesis GV80. It is the Korean outsider that walked into a room full of Germans and quietly out-luxuried most of them. Quilted leather, a genuinely gorgeous dashboard, a twin-turbo V6 with around 375 horsepower, and it costs several thousand less than the equivalent X5 while throwing in a warranty that shames everyone. This is the level where the engineering finally justifies the badge. You get proper rear legroom, a cabin quiet enough to hold a phone call at motorway speed without raising your voice, and suspension that soaks up broken British tarmac instead of firing every ridge straight into your spine. This is also the level where I would tell 80% of buyers to stop shopping. Seriously. The jump from here to level 3 costs you tens of thousands and buys you a 3rd row of seats and a bigger badge, and most people never use either. If you want one luxury SUV that does everything a family could realistically ask of it, the answer lives right here, and it is probably the GV80 or a well-spec'd X5. Everything above this point is where the maths starts getting silly. Level 3. the full-size flagships. This is the top of what most sane, wealthy people actually buy, and it is dominated by sheer physical presence. The Mercedes GLS, the BMW X7, the Cadillac Escalade, the Lincoln Navigator, and the Lexus LX600. Prices open around $90,000 and sail past $120,000 once you go near the V8 versions. The GLS is essentially an S-Class on stilts, with 3 rows that actually fit adults, and a cabin that treats the second row like business class. The X7 brings BMW's flagship tech, rear-wheel steering that shrinks the turning circle of something the size of a small flat, and a twin-turbo V8 in the M60i that shoves nearly 6,000 pounds of SUV to 60 in well under 5 seconds. The Americans play a different game. The Escalade is all about enormous presence, a curved OLED dashboard that stretches across the whole cabin, and an available AKG sound system with 36 speakers that turns the interior into a concert hall. The Lincoln Navigator does quiet, floaty, old-money luxury better than almost anyone. And then there is the Lexus LX600, which is the smart money flagship, because underneath the leather, it is a Toyota Land Cruiser. That means it will genuinely go off-road, it will tow 8,000 pounds, and it will not need 40,000 pounds of repairs the moment the warranty expires. That reliability gap is the entire argument for the LX at this level. Here is the honest truth about Level 3, though. Most of these vehicles spend 90% of their lives doing the same commute a mid-size SUV would handle identically. You are paying for the third row and the extra presence. If you genuinely need 7 seats and you want them to feel special, this is your level. If you do not, you are buying a lot of car you will rarely fully use. But we have not even reached the interesting part yet, because next, we leave comfort behind entirely and start chasing lap times. Level 4. Performance Luxury. This is where the engineers stop worrying about your comfort and start worrying about how quickly a 2.5-ton SUV can embarrass an actual sports car at the traffic lights. Welcome to the Mercedes AMG GLE 63, the BMW X5M competition, the Audi RSQ8, the Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT, and the car that started this whole madness, the Lamborghini Urus. Prices here run from around $110,000 to well past $260,000. The AMG GLE 63 packs a hand-built twin-turbo V8 with a mild hybrid boost making over 600 horsepower, and it will out-accelerate hot hatches while carrying a full load of shopping and 3 children. The X5M competition does the same with over 620 horsepower and a chassis stiff enough to feel genuinely alarming for something this tall. The Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT is the driver's choice, the one that actually corners like it means it, and it holds an SUV lap record at the Nürburgring for a reason. But the Lamborghini Urus is the cultural icon of this level. Same basic bones as the Cayenne and the RSQ8 because they all share Volkswagen Group's platform but wrapped in that angry wedge-shaped Lamborghini bodywork with a 4-liter twin-turbo V8 making around 657 horsepower. It is the best-selling Lamborghini in history, which tells you everything you need to know about who actually buys supercars now. Here's the thing you have to be honest with yourself about at Level 4. You are paying supercar money for straight-line speed you can legally use for about 4 seconds a month. The engineering is genuinely spectacular. The hand-built engines are real, but the value case is emotional, not rational. Nobody buys a 600-horsepower SUV because they need it. They buy it because on a cold morning, that V8 barking to life is the best alarm clock money can buy. And if you think this is where the price ceiling sits, you are adorable, because the British are about to make all of this look like a bargain. Level 5. British Aristocracy. Now we cross the channel, or rather we stay firmly in Britain because this level belongs to 2 names that have been signaling old money since before your grandparents were born. The Range Rover and the Bentley Bentayga. The full-fat Range Rover starts around $130,000 and climbs, in SV form, comfortably past $200,000. And here is what your money buys that the Germans genuinely cannot replicate. Presence. A Range Rover glides. The latest one is so refined, so isolated from the road, that stepping out of an X7 and into a Range Rover feels like upgrading from a very nice hotel to a private members club. The SV trim brings executive rear seats with a fold-out club table, ceramic detailing on the controls, and a level of hand-finished craft that makes the badge feel earned. The Bentley Bentayga plays the same game from a slightly different angle. Prices start around $200,000, and the interior is where it justifies every penny. Bentley's craftsmen will quilt the leather, veneer the wood, and knurl the metal controls with a precision that borders on obsession. The Bentayga Speed hides a monstrous engine capable of embarrassing that Urus we just discussed, all wrapped in a cabin that smells like a Mayfair club. Here's the catch with Level 5, and it is a big one: depreciation and reliability. A Range Rover can lose staggering money in its first 3 years, and both of these carry reputations for electrical gremlins that will test your patience and your bank balance in equal measure. This is the level where you stop asking whether it is a sensible purchase, because it very much is not. You buy at this level because you want the specific feeling that only a British luxury SUV delivers, and you have quietly accepted that the running costs are simply the price of admission. And yet, incredibly, we are only 2/3 of the way up the ladder. Level 6. Ultra Luxury. This is where we leave the world of things ordinary wealthy people buy and enter the realm of the genuinely eye-wateringly rich. The Mercedes-Maybach GLS 600, the Aston Martin DBX 707, and the base of the mountain we are about to climb, the Rolls-Royce Cullinan itself. The Maybach GLS 600 starts around $170,000, and it is the most quietly outrageous car on this whole list, because from the outside, it looks like a very shiny GLS, but inside, it is a rolling first-class lounge. 2 individual reclining rear seats with heated calf rests and chilled champagne flutes, a 2-tone paint job with a coach line hand-drawn by a single painter, and a level of isolation from the outside world that borders on sensory deprivation. The Aston Martin DBX 707 attacks the same wallet from the sporting angle. At 707 metric horsepower, it is one of the most powerful luxury SUVs on the planet, an Aston that will genuinely dance for something this large, wrapped in the most beautiful bodywork any SUV has ever worn. Both of these sit in that $200,000 plus bracket where every surface you touch has been finished by hand. But here is what separates Level 6 from everything below it. At this level, the car is no longer a product, it is a commission. You are not choosing a trim from a list, you are sitting down with a designer and specifying your car. The leather, the stitching, the veneer, the paint mixed to match your yacht. And that mindset, that idea that the car is bespoke rather than simply bought, is exactly what carries us into Level 7, where the numbers stop being car prices and start being house prices. Level 7, the absolute pinnacle. This is not really about cars anymore. This is about objects that happen to have wheels, built for people to whom the price is genuinely irrelevant, and it is ruled by one name above all others: the Rolls-Royce Cullinan. A standard Cullinan starts around £400,000, and it is powered by a 6 3/4-liter twin-turbo V12 that Rolls-Royce famously refuses to quote precise power figures for, describing the output simply as adequate. It makes around 563 horsepower, but that number misses the point entirely, because a Rolls does not accelerate, it gathers pace, wafting forward on a magic carpet air suspension that reads the road ahead with cameras and irons out imperfections before you ever feel them. The black badge version turns the wick up, blacks out every piece of chrome, and adds a genuine menace to the whole thing. But the reason we said a £500,000 Cullinan is because almost nobody buys a standard one. This is the home of Rolls-Royce Bespoke, the division where the options list simply ceases to exist. Want a starlight headliner with a shooting star that arcs across the roof? Done. Want the veneer cut from a tree on your own estate? They will send someone. Want a color that matches a single flower from your wedding? They will mix it and they will keep the recipe on file forever. A picnic set built into the boot, an umbrella hidden inside the door, a champagne cooler chilled to exactly the right temperature. By the time a serious collector has finished specifying a Cullinan, that $400,000 base price has quietly become $500,000, and there are one-off coach-built commissions that make even that look modest. And here is the strangest part of all. The people at this level are not buying transport. They are buying the last word. The certainty that in a world where anyone can lease a nice SUV, they own the one that literally cannot be matched, because no two are ever exactly alike. That is what £500,000 actually buys. Not speed, not practicality, but the quiet knowledge that yours is the only one. So where does all of this leave you, standing at the bottom of the ladder trying to work out how far up to climb? Let me make it simple. For everyday buyers who want genuine luxury without financial pain, levels 1 and 2 are your home, and the smart money is the Lexus NX or the Genesis GV80. If you need space and presence for a growing family, level 3 delivers it, and the Lexus LX is the one that will not bankrupt you in repairs. Level 4 is pure emotion, so only climb there if the sound of a V8 genuinely moves you and you can absorb the running costs. And levels 5, 6, and 7 are not about value at all. They are about identity. They are what you buy when the car has stopped being a tool and started being a statement. The single most important truth in all of this is the one nobody at the dealership will ever tell you. The best luxury SUV is not the most expensive one you can afford. It is the one whose extra features you will actually use every single day. Everything beyond that is money spent on a story. Now, I want to hear from you, so drop a comment and tell me 3 things. First, which level is your genuine sweet spot? And be honest. Second, would you take the bulletproof Lexus LX or roll the dice on a Range Rover? And third, is a £500,000 Cullinan the most brilliant thing on this list or the most ridiculous? If this saved you from an expensive mistake or just settled an argument, do me a favor and hit subscribe, because I break down what your money actually buys, with no brochure fluff and no badge worship. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.